Hola chicos, here we are again, another excellent Spanish lesson coming up for you. Are you preparado? Are you listo? Entonces, ya. Make sure you've got your worksheet ready, and then I'd like you to spend the next 5 to 10 minutes making sure that you have marked lessons 1 to 4. These were just worksheets, and then lessons 5 to 7 were video lessons, so hopefully you got the answers instantaneously. If you are with myself, Miss Henton, the answers have been put into the class materials folder that you'll find in the Files tab on Teams. If not, follow your other teacher's instructions to get the answers. When you're ready, come back and let's get on with this lesson. So today's lesson is all about our three tenses and using them together. So whilst I'm talking through the three tenses, pause the video as many times as you need to make notes so that you're ready for the next part. So here we have the present tense. When to use it. The present tense is used to talk about something that is happening right here, right now. So for example, I am creating this lesson and recording it for YouTube. That is what I'm doing right now, present tense. Formation. You need to find an infinitive. Remember in Spanish, the infinitives are identified with AR, ER and IR at the end, and they mean to something. Second step, we need to remove the AR, ER and IR and add the ending you want for the present tense. So here are our endings, and you can find these throughout your knowledge organisers, or you can make a note of them here. Let's go through these pronouns to just remind us of who they are. So yo is I, tú, you singular, él, he, ella, she, nosotros, we, vosotros, you all, you plural, ellos, they masculine, but remember we use ellos to talk about a mixed group of people, and ellas is for they feminine. Let's look at an example. We have here the infinitive hablar, which means to speak. What am I going to do first? Well, I found my infinitive, so that's step 1 ticked. Step 2, I'm going to remove AR and ER, or IR, this case it's just AR, so I'm left with habla. And step 3, I need to add the ending I want. I want to say I speak, so I need to go to my AR column, look at yo because that's I, and I need to add O, so it's going to change from hablar to hablo. Preterite tense. This is our second tense. You've seen this quite a lot in Year 8, especially in Module 1 with mis vacaciones. When to use it? To talk about something that happened in the past, and it's normally to do with a specific event. For example, last week I ate dinner in the garden. It was last week, a specific event of eating, and that's what the preterite tense is. The formation. Step 1, you need to find an infinitive like you did for the present tense. Step 2, you need to remove AR, ER and IR. And step 3, you need to be adding the ending that you want, which is exactly the same as the present tense. And here we've got our endings. Make sure you've got a note of these. These are also in your knowledge organisers. And if you notice, ER and IR have exactly the same endings, so there's only 2 lots to learn here. What's even more important to notice is that we've got the introduction of some accents here. These are extremely important because if you don't have the accents on the E or the O here in particular, you are going to be changing it to the present tense, so make sure you've got those. Let's look at an example. Let's use hablar again. So we've got our infinitive, hablar. I'm going to remove AR, which leaves me with habla. I want to say I spoke. So I'm going to go to my column to look for I, the pronoun, which is yo. Go across to AR, which is E accent. I'm going to add it to the end, and here we have I spoke, hablé. Near future. If you have been taught by me at school, you'll know that I like to use the 1, 2, 3 rule. But let's start right from the beginning, because when it is used, is when we're talking about something that is going to happen. And this formation is as follows. 1, 2, 3. Part 1. You need to use the present tense of ir as follows. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. Make sure your V's sound a bit like B's when you're pronouncing, so it's more rounded in Spanish. Part 2, we just add the letter A, so voy a, vas a, va a, vamos a, vais a, van a. And in part 3, you add an infinitive. And we've got some examples here. So let's put a sentence together using this. I want to say I am going to speak. Part 1, I need to say I am going. That is voy. I then add part 2, which is just the letter A. And then to speak is hablar. I put it all together, 1 plus 2 plus 3. It does equal 6, but in this case it's the near future. Voy a hablar. Make sure you're noting this down, and you can always pause and go back to something if you're not sure. It's your turn now, guys. I would like you to spend the next 5 to 7 minutes on this table. You've got to fill out each column with the correct form of the verb and person. So the first one's been done for you, which is jugar, to play. I have wanted it to be changed to I. Preterite tense is jugué, present tense is juego, and near future is voy a jugar. Start at green and work your way to red. Red, these are irregular, so you're going to have to be careful with those. But you can definitely do these ones, guys. Use the steps that we've discussed, 5 to 7 minutes, and come back for the answers. Okay, here we are for the answers. Let's look at all of the answers for the preterite tense first. So hopefully you have got the following. So, estudié, I studied. You listened, escuchaste. He, she ate, comió. He, she drank, bebió. We lived, vivimos. You all wrote, escribisteis. And these ones were slightly irregular here. So, I, tuve, for I had. I went, fui. We've seen this plenty of times before with our holidays. Fui a España, fui a Italia. He, she, it. So hizo, so he did his homework, hizo los deberes, and I saw, vi. Present tense, as follows. Removing the AR, ER, and IR, and we are adding the appropriate ending. Once again, take care with these ones because they are slightly irregular, except for this one here. And for near future, the 1, 2, 3 rule. You actually already had part 3 here for you, so it was just making sure that you had the correct person here. So voy for I, vas, you singular, va, he, she, vamos, we, vais, you all, and van is the one that's missing. Excellent, guys. Make sure you've marked those, and let's move forward. So you now have to leer y traducir, read and translate. You have got 8 sentences on this side, but they're actually missing their half. So you've got to match up each part to create a full sentence. So the example given here is 1D. I don't want you to write them like that. I want you to write out the full sentences in the halves that you match up. So, hola, me llamo Carlos. We go to D y vivo en Sevilla. Now I want you to translate what you've written. Hello, my name is Carlos and I live in Sevilla. Does that make sense? Yes, it does. And the reason why it makes sense is because I thought about the tenses being used. It's got the same endings for the verbs. There's no accent, so it implies it's going to be present tense with the o. So my name is Carlos and I live in Sevilla. See if you can do the rest of them for me. Write them out on the document and translate them, and if you're with Miss Henton, I will be looking at these and providing feedback for you. Okay, You have got some listening and reading tasks, but these are online through Active Learn. The instructions are on your worksheet and you need to follow that so that you've got your login details. If you've got any issues, get in contact with your teacher and they can help you out. And they are all exercises are to focus a bit further on using 3 tenses and recognizing them through listening and reading. Come back when you have completed the tasks, just to cover what you've got to do now. So your final task is to go to the multiple choice quiz that's been created, and the link is in the worksheet. There's 10 questions and you've simply got to say if the verb is in the preterite, the present or the near future, and the last question is a confidence rating. So 1 star if you're not feeling so confident about 3 tenses, and 5 stars if you feel you've got it. Next lesson, you've got a writing and translation skills part coming up, which is all to do with your revision of Module 4. Muchas gracias, chicos, y hasta pronto.